Good to see you. I hope you're all having a good and prosperous and healthy and happy, peaceful time where you are. Over here, I've got the usual sounds of war, unfortunately. We've got them flying overhead as always. Hello. Including the war fighting machines that fly up in the sky, the jet fighters and choppers and whatever else flies around there. It's in addition to the usual complaint cylinders inbound, things we have incoming from our angry neighbors to the north and south. And yeah, for those of you who don't know, I'm in Israel right now, so that's why it's like that. I don't know if you can hear the jet fighters flying above me, but there they are doing what they do, patrolling the skies and running missions and taking the fight to the enemy kind of thing, I guess. Or maybe they're just training, who knows. They're doing whatever they're doing, but they sure are very active. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk to you about. It's just, when you're walking around and you hear it everywhere, it can get to be on your mind a little. But real quick, this video is about Litecoin and why Litecoin is set to crush most altcoins. And I mean that in the big picture. This is not a trading related video necessarily, okay? This is really about the big picture, the super high time frames, which I don't trade monthly and so on. Why is altcoin set to do very well in the coming months and years? Well, as Bitcoin continues to grow in terms of the number of people that want a piece of it, we see that the scarcity of the supply is extremely high, meaning it's very scarce. It is hard to get any, right? And it's not cheap these days. Now you might say, well, it's cheaper now than it will be in 5 years, 10 years. If it hits $1 million, then yeah, that's true. But it's also not cheap right now because most people do not have the cash necessary to plunk down 71K or whatever to own a whole unit, right? That's a lot for most people, and most people don't even have $500 for an emergency. Think about that. Like seriously, most households, not people, most households do not have $500 put aside for an emergency. Okay. Now, if you do, congratulations. Good for you. You're not one of those people. But we're talking about most human beings, even in the United States. The average American household has trouble scraping together $500 for an emergency. Think about how messed up that is. People living in the most prosperous economic powerhouse country in the history of mankind, at least supposedly and on paper, can't afford $500 for an emergency. That's pretty messed up. Now, of course, almost half the population can afford that and much, much more. But half or more of the American population can't. So what does that mean? Well, it means people are going to turn to new assets where they can get a piece of something that they can afford, or they're going to get a fraction of a piece of something they can afford. So yeah, they can buy Bitcoin. They can buy fractions of it. They can buy Satoshis, right? Or, they still get however many thousands of them for a buck, right? But those are just Satoshis. Those are not a whole unit of BTC, right? On the other hand, for the last look at it, was around $71 and change some minutes ago. Litecoin is priced at that. So the price of one 1,000, you can have a Litecoin. A Litecoin for the price of one 1,000th of a Bitcoin. And Litecoin is not owned majority wise by whales at the moment. It is still held mostly by retail traders and investors and holders. And there's a lot of reasons for that, right? Including the fact that there's more interest in the orange coin, etc. But all the miners that mine Bitcoin, the vast overwhelming majority of them, also mine Litecoin. And there's only 4 times as many Litecoins as there are Bitcoin in terms of the max supply, right? The max supply of Bitcoin is 21 million, which will be achieved roughly in the year 2140. And some years after that, that's another jet fighter going by. Some years after that, not many, whatever, the max supply of Litecoin will be reached at 84 million Litecoins. That's all there is. And it only costs 1/1000th of a Bitcoin. So, has all the same code, has all the same characteristics, divisible in the same way, portable in the same way, uncensorable in the same way, can do literally anything that Bitcoin can do. You could have ordinals on it, you could have runes on it, you could have whatever you want. The same things, right? It's all the same code. So, do I think Litecoin has a prosperous, bright future, long term? Yeah, I do. Do I recommend that people buy it? No, I don't recommend that people do anything, right? But it is very likely to do well. That's my opinion. Talk to you later. Bye.